One Piece chapter 1018, Jinbei versus Who's Who. Oh man, this chapter was hype. So let's just jump right into it. The chapter starts off with, them inside the interior of the castle and everything like that. And, the gifters are switching sides, due to Otama, where she came in clutch last chapter. And now they're starting to realize, wow, okay, so it's the little girl's fault that we're losing. Let's go target her. And Usopp, and Nami are trying to, get Otama away from the action because they realize that they're targeting her. Which obviously Nami could do a lot about that, but it's still draining, to fight and try to protect Otama at the same time. So they're just trying to get out of there, while a couple of gifters we're familiar with, Speed and the Scorpion guy, I'm forgetting his name, or trying to get Otama out there. So they hop on the back of Speed and they're rushing towards safety. We also get a really cool scene where Zeus is trying to get on Nami's good side. He's like, can I be your servant again? And she's like, servant? Nah, just be my partner instead. And that's actually this really dope scene of Zeus just obliterating the enemies with thunderbolts and everything like that, PK thunders. So that was a really dope scene. And we actually cut back over to the CP0 agents, and they're talking about a lot of what's going on with the gifters switching sides and everything, of how this is ridiculous, which we're high key, I think this is actually good because it verifies why the CP0 agents are here. Apparently they're not here for I don't think they're here for just the Straw Hats and everything like that, or whatever one wins they're gonna fight and everything like that. I don't think they're here to do that because of some stuff they say later in the chapter, but they could still very well fight the Straw Hats and everything like that. But I don't think that's the main reason they're here. They're here because of Who's Who, and obviously Who's Who being a fellow agent of the Cipher Pole and everything like that. They do not want the information that Who's have that Who's Who has getting leaked to the world and everything like that. So basically, whether or not whoever wins doesn't really matter, as long as Who's Who is dead by the end of it. That's what they really want, to my knowledge, because Who's Who knows a crap ton of government secrets and everything like that. So that's what I think they want and everything like that. But nevertheless, after they get done discussing about Who's Who and everything like that, we cut over to actually Jinbei versus Who's Who. We get to pick back up on this fight. I guess this is where the major vocal point of this chapter is. I don't know if this fight is over with this chapter, but if it was to end with this chapter, I'd be okay with that. But yeah, we pick back up with Who's Who and Jinbei throwing the ones and everything like that, and we just seeing some of these Rokushiki techniques again. Just I'm always happy to see them because I miss Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci is I think my favorite One Piece antagonist and everything like that, and just seeing these attacks again, even if it's not Rob Lucci, is I don't know. It was a fan favorite moment for me. And following that, we see Who's Who berate Jinbei with a barrage of fang pistols and everything like that. And these things aren't no joke. They're actually cutting off the arms of Who's Who's subordinates and everything like that. And it's causing a lot of destruction. And who did I saying his name is gonna fuck me over, I'm telling you. And Who's Who is basically telling Jinbei you're very smart to dodge these attacks. These would even shredded through your armament hockey and everything like that. And he's just you're quite good for a fish, man, even if you're on dry land. And Jinbei's just bro, what's that supposed to mean? What are you trying to say? I thought we were past discrimination. And can I just say, versus Oda, why do you talking about discrimination so much? I get it, it's real word and everything like that. This guy Oda, bro. Let me this man right here, this guy right here. But yeah, no. And basically they trade a couple blows throughout this chapter. But as Who's Who is gearing up for another attack, he actually says to Jinbei he has another question for him. He's I got one more thing that I want to ask you about before I kill you. Well, he didn't say before I kill you, but obviously he's trying to kill Jinbei. Resentment towards the captain and everything. And basically Who's Who gives us a little bit more about his his imprisonment and everything like that. And he was saying while he was in the cell and everything like that, everybody told him as a joke, mockingly, to pray to this sun god Nika or whatever. And he, Who's Who, being so desperate to live, he clung to that hope and everything like that. And he said that in ancient times, he was a legendary warrior that eventually came back and saved slaves and everything. He freed the slaves and everything like that. And he thought that he wants to basically verify whether this Nika god exists and everything like that. I'm pretty sure Nika is similar to the god Nike in mythology and everything like that. At least I think that's what Oda's doing. I could be wrong, but Yeah. And he's basically saying how, like, since you're a fishman and fishermen are basically slaves, surely your people will have some connection to the god Nika, which I don't know why who's just getting racist all of a sudden, but like I don't know, bro. It's no wonder that Jinbei is like pissed off, during this fight. Now, a lot of people would probably tie what Who was saying to like Joy Boy, because he said that Nika was like said to have like brought laughter and and freed them from their suffering and everything like that, which is kind of like what Luffy has done. Like, Luffy is impartial as far as like everybody he meets. He treats them all equally. Luffy is like that bridge that'll like sort of like save the world. So maybe in a sense Luffy is Joy Boy. This is all just like everything in Wano is leading up to like this big reveal probably of like who Joy Boy really is. And like I personally just cannot wait to see what Oda does next with like this whole like Joy Boy scenario and everything like that. And what Jinbei does next is he tells Who's Who, look, if you're gonna make assumptions or statements about other people's history, next time you should do more research and not be half-assed about it. And he delivers his ultimate technique. I cannot pronounce it, so I'm not going to butcher it. And he ends up like hitting Who's Who directly in the face, and I'm pretty sure he shattered Who's Who's mask. So I guess now, like, if Who's Who ever goes back to human form, we get to see what Who's Who looks like. But this chapter was freaking insane. Oda, you are amazing. I have no words. I have no words. This chapter was insane. We got a lot of more like history and lore and everything like that. Who's Who got, was being very offensive and then had the nerve to ask Jinbei, why are you so mad all of a sudden? I don't know, maybe because you kept calling his people slaves and everything like that, man. I don't know. But there's a break next week, so I guess you'll catch me for more One Piece content whenever the next chapter drops, or maybe I'll drop a theory about the sun god Nika. I'll see you all in the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe, and goodbye.